Guys, today we're going to look at October 2023 forecasts and predictions. So let's dive in. We're going to highlight first the outer planets, and then we're going to look at what is going on for the whole month. So we have a lot going on. Also, I'd like to let you know that I do provide a newsletter with this kind of information, and you could get that on the website, holistichealingastrology.com. Also, if you'd like, you could follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Thank you. So this month, we're going to have retrogrades. And the first week, we're going to have Pluto, Capricorn. And then Pluto and Capricorn will go direct. So the whole month of October, Pluto is going to be in 27 degrees of Capricorn. That is a very powerful station. Okay, so I'd like you to go into your chart and find 27 degrees Capricorn or 27 degrees of an earth sign or a cardinal sign. And then you'll be able to see how Pluto is going to deeply and powerfully impact you. I always like to start with the outer planets because the outer planets or the generational planets move the slowest. Okay, so when we're looking at transits, which help us do the predictions with the forecasting, because they're not really predictions, they're influences of your chart. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, but I urge you to pay attention to these energies and how they affect you. So we also have Neptune, the ruling planet of Pisces, in retrograde. We also have Uranus in Taurus retrograde, Saturn in Pisces as well retrograde, and then Jupiter in Taurus retrograde. So that is 5 planets in the beginning of the month that are retrograde, 1 planet that is stationed, which is the strongest planet. Okay, so it is very, very powerful. Okay, and we're going to continue to talk about the retrogrades in a moment. Let's also look and see a big eclipse is coming, which is new beginnings. It's a big intensity and it lasts for 6 months. So we're going to have a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. Eclipses always come in pairs. All right. So you're going to have the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse. So what an eclipse is, it's a full moon or the new moon that has the north and south node axis close to it, which we call a conjunction in astrology. So I will go through the degrees, but I just wanted to give you a highlight of what we're going to speak to today. Also, we have the planet ingresses. So what a planet ingress is, ingress is a fancy or astrological term that means that the planet is moving out of a sign and going into a new sign. So it's going into, ingressing into a new sign. So the first one, October 4th, will be Mercury in Libra. So we're going to have the communication style of Libra. And Libra is an air sign and a cardinal sign. So that means we're going to have assertive type, intellectual, social type of communication. All righty. And always, because it's Libra, it's going to have that negotiating type of flair, that let's keep the peace, focusing on others, that kind of energy. All right. And then on October 8th, we're going to have Venus, the planet of love and money, and also valuables and attraction, will be in Virgo. Okay, so we finished up with Virgo season in September. And so now Venus is going into the sign of Virgo. Virgo is an earth mutable sign. So Virgo has to do with food, animals, plants, anything that deals with the earth, you know, whether it's trees, nature, okay, earthy, down to earth. So it gives it a slower cadence, a slower pace. But remember, Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So Virgo is the fastest of all the earth signs. So pay attention to the energy of Venus and see how that affects you and see where that is in your chart. All you have to do is go into your natal chart and find your Venus, okay? Find your Virgo, and that's where Venus will be, okay? And then on the 12th, we're going to have Mars, which is an opposite energy of Venus. It's more assertive. It's not so soft and gentle and let's negotiate in peace, love, and in harmony. It's like, this is what I want, and this is how we're going to get it. And it's assertive and it's a little aggressive, okay? And it could be a little violent, but it represents action. How it's going to work for you depends on you and your life, because astrology does not dictate, it suggests, influences. So we have the law of attraction, and we must always remember that energy flows where attention goes. So if you focus on Mars being aggressive, hostile, a weapon, and mean, angry, violent, then that's what you're going to get. But if you choose the softer approach of Mars, which means let's exercise, let's expend some energy, let's move forward, let's take action, then that's what Mars will represent for you. You have free will. So how you use the energies of the planets is up to you. Okay. So it's in the sign of Scorpio. Now, Scorpio, as you remember, is a fixed water sign. So I like to analogize Scorpio energy as a waterfall or a fire hose, that intense pressurized water hitting the same spot over and over and over. So it's intense, it's powerful, and it's irreversible change, because if you get hit by that hose or you're under that waterfall, that will change you in a big way. Okay. But it's endings and beginnings, it's transformational. So if you get hurt, because you are Niagara Falls and you get crushed by that water, that could mean death, or it could just mean that there's going to be an ending to a job or a relationship or circumstance. Okay. It also could be a loss. You could lose a possession. You could lose a person. You could lose a deal. It's a loss. But guess what? Whenever there's a loss, there's always room for a beginning. Okay. A new thing. So we have to take astrology with empowerment. So empowerment, because understanding where the planets are in your chart and how they may affect you gives you power. That's the power. It doesn't mean that you're doomed. It just means that you're going to look around, doesn't mean you have to cancel trips or do anything like that. You just have to be mindful. Okay. So if you have any questions as you're going through this presentation, please comment below. And if you like what you hear, go ahead and subscribe, and go ahead and share this information with any of your friends that really want a good understanding of astrology. So I appreciate that. And then again, now Mercury is going to ingress into another sign twice in 1 month. So I hope you get the feeling of how quickly Mercury goes around the chart. So Mercury is ingressing twice. It's going to shift energies and gears 2 times. So on the 23rd of October, Mercury goes into Scorpio. And so now we're going to have Mars and Mercury in that Scorpio energy that I just described. But what does Mercury represent? Mercury is how we think, it's how we speak, it is how we communicate, reading, information, data. Okay. If you're into speaking, that's what it means for you. If you're into writing, that's what it means for you. If you're into, like, let me look up this information, that's what it means for you. If you're a teacher, a trainer, that's what it means for you. So that planet Mercury and all the different planets and all the different signs and houses will have a specific meaning for each individual out there that I'm speaking to. That's what I like, to use the different keywords. And if you haven't heard, I am self-publishing, on-demand publishing, two publications. One is more or less a pamphlet, Astro Power, why 5 reasons millennials love astrology. And the other one is the Astrologer's Time Saver. This is a comprehensive book for any astrologer out there that wants keywords. And the title is The Astrologer's Time Saver, Quick and Easy Chart and Decoding. Okay. And then it's comprehensive keyword cheat sheets. Pardon me. So I hope that you take advantage and get this publication, and you'll be the first to know, because I will produce notifications on my social media, and I will do a little YouTube describing and showing people the book. This is the prototype right here, and it has these cheat sheets, but it's very hard to see on the but it's just filled with cheat sheets. And so when we talk, if you want to see what Mercury can represent for you, then you would look under Mercury, which is mental activity, the mind, neighbors, short trips, thoughts, teaching. And you could quickly go down that list and say, oh, this is how this energy resonates with me. So this is kind of like a quantum healing type of astrological service that I provide. And so let's get back to the predictions, okay, or the forecasting, because we really don't predict. So I am going to pull up the screen share for you. So let's look at the eclipse season that we're going to have. And so what is an eclipse? An eclipse is a time of great change, beginnings and endings. And it's a lot of times unexpected, surprising, but it has to do with the north and south node axis being conjunct to the new moon or the full moon. Okay, so that is very powerful, because when the nodes are involved in the chart reading or in a transit, that means that you're going to have something that's not earth-shattering, but it's very potent in your life, because it has to do with your purpose. So the nodes reflect the journey, what you came from and where you're going to. That axis of the south node to the north node is the journey that you're on. Now, if you prescribe to the past life philosophy, then that means the South Node represents the past lives and the last past life that you had and what's familiar to you. So that's what's familiar. And then the North Node is your purpose, why you're here. What is it that you want to achieve? It's a little different than the midheaven of the chart, which is your accomplishments and achievements. But the purpose has to do with the North and South nodes. So when you have a full moon or new moon affecting a nodal axis, then that means it's an eclipse. So the solar eclipse is in 21 degrees Libra, and it's going to be on the 14th of October, and that's with the new moon. And then the lunar eclipse, which is a full moon, that's the endings and the time to release. That will be at 5 degrees Taurus on the 28th of October. So as you can see, there's a lot going on. So what you need to do is pull out your natal chart to see, wow, do I have any, first of all, do you have anything in 25 to 29 degrees of Capricorn or any cardinal and or earth sign? You will have the effect. And if you have your solar arc chart, you could look at that. That's a progression. You also want to look at these retrograde planets that are Neptune 25 degrees. And I always give it a 2-degree orb. So then that means we would look at 23 to 27 degrees Pisces or mutable and water signs. Okay. And then Uranus is also retrograde, and we would look at anything in our chart between 20 and 24 degrees of a fixed sign and or earth signs. Okay. Same thing with Saturn and Pisces. You're going to be looking for a mutable water sign, and Jupiter in Taurus, which is a fixed and earth sign. So they move quickly, so you'll see what degrees. I didn't want to give that full range. So let's take a peek. This is the first day. This is where you're going to look. Okay. And then, so here's the sun, and here's Pluto over here. Pluto's not going to move. Neptune's not going to move very much. Neither will, let's see here, Uranus. So I do notice that Chiron is also retrograde. So I need to make an adjustment. So details are extremely important when we look at astrology. And that's why when you have an astrological reading with your astrologer, hopefully it will be me, we have to look at all these planets, all these cusps, these areas of your life, these houses, and all the aspects that go along with it when we look at the chart. So this is the first day of October, and then on the 4th, you see here that Mercury moves into Libra. So actually it'll be a little later at that time. So it's already 1 degree on the 5th. All right. And it's direct. Okay. So, and we look and we see that Black Moon Lilith also ingressed. And the reason why those were not on my sheet and it went under my radar is because it's not listed on the ephemeris. You have to take a look at it. So we will pause this for a minute. So here we go. We have the black moon Lilith over here that ingresses into Taurus on the 2nd of October, which is going to give you a totally new energy. Okay. And also we're going to go into the 3rd, and we just scan around the chart the whole time, and we're looking at the degrees. But with transits, you want to look at the slower moving planets first, because they're the longest lasting. The sun will go through a sign 30 degrees in about a month. Okay. So that's where you could see where you shine. Mercury will tell you where the communication is going to be, what area, what sign. And Mars is going to tell you the action. And Venus is going to tell you romance, love, food, money. And Black Moon Lilith is that shadow side, that raw, instinctive, savage energy. And the moon, that's every 3 days it changes sign. So Chiron is where you're healing, the sign of Aries, and then Jupiter in Taurus. Okay. And Uranus is also in Taurus, and they're both retrograde. So that's what we do. We're looking at that. I have it all highlighted over here on the side for you. But let's see what else is going on. Now, during this time period, we have Saturn 1 degree Pisces opposing Black Moon Lilith. So there's going to be some harsh responsibilities, or some discipline, or some structural boundaries. And it will depend on what house it's in your chart. But because Pisces has to do with spirituality, it could have an energy of imagination, spirituality. Let's go with the flow. And this is all about structure. But Black Moon Lilith also represents, that shadowy side, pedophilia, pornography, and it's, and look at, there's money involved here with this kind of issue. And we're talking about collective, not just necessarily you, but we're going to see how does that affect you. And if you notice here, if you follow this square, there needs to be some work done over here, because of this is technology, but it also could mean the internet. All right. So you just have to blend the energies together. I like to kind of just be mindful, but if you look at what's going on currently, especially with social media, there's a lot going on in this energy of Black Moon Lilith. And, it's trafficking and all that other stuff. But there's some service now that could be involved. And there are some people that are providing a service to sting these operations. And it's happening every day if you pay attention. So that's what you do. You look and see. So some people feel compelled, and it could be one of you, where you're going to do something about it. Like, we have to stop this. And that's the Saturn energy. All right. And there's also here a triangle, which is the trine that has to do with right here, a healing. And this North Node is involved. So that's our purpose. This is not going to last forever. And it has to do with this transgender movement as well. And let's see where Neptune is. Look, Neptune, the planet of confusion, is forming an inconjunct here, which is an irritation. I always call it the stone in the shoe, where you just have to take your shoe off and take that stone out of there. So we have to look at every single aspect, and we could talk about this chart for hours, but I want you to get an idea of some harsh energies, and that's on the 3rd. Okay, so let's continue on. This is an ingress. Okay, so that's a new type of energy. So let's pay attention to that. And in the meantime, Pluto is stationing and staying at the same degree right here for the whole month. It's retrograde, but then see, it's retrograde, but after the 7th or the 8th, it's going to be direct. But it's been in this 27 degrees. It's going to stay there for until November 1st, right before election. And you know what Pluto is? It's irreversible change. It's transformation. It is intense. It's powerful. Okay. And it takes you to a low place, but it brings you to a much higher place. Okay. So as you can see, this is quite interesting. So make sure you check your natal chart. And then on the 5th, as we move along, you see the planets are all moving. Okay. And let's go to the 8th, and we see that Venus enters Virgo. Okay. So we're off by a few hours. I could correct that. And there we go. Venus goes into, there it is. So Venus went into Virgo right here. And so now on the 8th, we have Black Moon Lilith, which is direct, okay, traveling along for a short period of time with Venus. So that could be anything with love, money, the dark side. Okay. It could, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what it is, but these are the influences. And how is it going to affect your chart? Okay. So you're going to look at around the 8th, the 0 degrees Virgo, earth sign, or mutable sign. Okay. And let's move along to Mars on the 12th. And see, look here, this is very powerful. We can't forget that it's opposing Saturn. So there's a tug of war. There's a need to balance the spiritual responsibility that we have with what's going on with the children. Get it? It's fascinating, isn't it? Fascinating. So let's keep moving. Mars is going to go into a new sign, change of energy, but it's going to go into Scorpio. And in ancient astrology, Mars was the ruler of Scorpio. So it's very powerful. Okay. So let's look. Here's Mars over here, 0 degrees. And it is trine Saturn and Pisces. So that means there's this natural flow of aggressive energy towards responsibilities, boundaries, barriers, discipline, conservatism. Could even be fights, protests. Interesting, isn't it? And then that need to balance, and then, but this is exact. I like to look at the exact stuff. Otherwise, we would be here for days talking about it. Okay. So now you're getting a good idea. And then we could jump down to the 14th, which is going to be the solar eclipse. Now we could visualize the solar eclipse. So we have the full moon right here, actually the new moon right here, which is the solar eclipse on the 14th, and sandwiched right there in the middle is the south node opposing the north node. So we look at that line. So it's the new beginnings and endings. But let's not forget, that there may be some other influences around, okay? Like Mercury and Mars. All right. I hope you're enjoying this. If you have any questions, go ahead and post it on the bottom and we'll get to you as soon as possible because I do read the comments. So now we're going to move forward to the 23rd of the month where Mercury goes into Scorpio. Okay. So here we go right here. Plus the sun moves into Scorpio too. All right. So Mercury and the sun are in Scorpio on the same day right here. Okay. And because Mercury moves so fast that this happened in the morning hours and this is PM. All right. So take a look at that and then you can see where this energy is going to be in your chart. But there's also a trine to this Sun Mercury. We may hear a lot of communication and people reporting about, responsibilities, spiritual responsibilities or imagination or anything of that escapist world, that spiritual world, that mystical world. Okay. So then we're going towards the end of the month on the 28th, 5 degrees Taurus, where we have the full moon, which is a time to release. Don't forget, these eclipses last for 6 months. It's a long time. So it's a time to journal and go inward. So there you have again, you have on the 28th, 5 degrees Taurus right here. And so the moon is 8 degrees and we could fiddle around with it until that particular hour where and then the moon exactly is 5 degrees. So it matches the sun. And here we go. So it's opposing the sun, 5 degrees Scorpio. Okay. And then the eclipse is still considered conjunct. Okay. All right. So if you're interested in working with me, I'm Avzera Verdakis, founder of Holistic Healing Astrology. And let me know if you need my help. Just hop on the website and browse around. If you're not sure what to do, you could schedule a call with me, and I'd be more than happy to help you out. Have a great rest of the day.